You're listening to the new WCEG network on WCEGTalkRadio.com. Click your live stream tab or watch us live on your smart TV on YouTube on the WCEG network. I'm Wardell Richardson, your host right here on WcegWood The Hollywood of the South for the next hour. We're your worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio. That's WCEG_talk_radio. And WCEG Network. That's WCEG Network. Last but not least, topics and opinions of those of the show hosts and guests and not those of WCEG Network. Thanks for your continued support. I'm Wardell Richardson, actor, producer, director, host of WcegWood Hollywood of the South, here again for another amazing show. And before I introduce to you my wonderful, lovely, talented guest, I want to speak a little bit about some news that came up. First, please, people, do not forget to go and vote. It is imperative that you go and vote. There is a lot going on. If you haven't seen what's going on social media, on the news about the election, you are under a rock or somewhere way far out in a unknown land somewhere, because it is known all over the country about what's going on here in Georgia. So please go out and vote. It is very imperative that you vote. We need change in our community and in our state. So please go and vote at your earliest convenience. The early voting ends on the 4th. I think today's the 3rd, so tomorrow's the 4th. So you got one more day to go out and vote before early voting ends. The actual voting day is November the 8th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I advise you to go on out and try to vote tomorrow if you can, because on the 8th, the line is going to be through the wazoo with people trying to get there to vote. That's just my opinion. You can listen to me, you don't have to, but I advise you to go out and vote as soon as you can. I have voted and I am very happy about what I've done. And if you don't know where you can vote at, you can go to Stacey Abrams' website and you can find out where the voting polls are in your community. So please go out, vote. I can't express that enough. We need to make a change. Us as Black people need to go out and start voting. We are a powerful group of people, and your vote does matter in these particular elections, especially these elections. So please go out and vote. If you haven't yet, and you're just sitting home, fellas, if you're sitting home with your lady and you just want to go and watch a nice movie or something, go to YouTube or go to Amazon Prime and put my name in, and you'll see several films that I've been in, that I've starred in and produced. One of my favorite films is 30 Day Rule, which is a romantic comedy. You'll love it. My wife is played by Dominique Perry from the hit TV show Insecure. Love playing, acting with her. She's a phenomenal actress, and the film itself is a great film. I got an award for that movie. Also, The Last Time a Domestic Violence Film will be coming soon. It will be coming to a website where you can go and see it. It is an amazing film, and I think it may also go to Amazon Prime as well. So I've been talking to the executive producer. We've been coming up with some ideas to get it out there so that everybody can see it, because there was a lot of people who haven't seen it yet, and everybody's talking about seeing it. I've been putting out snippets on social media of that as well. So please go out when that time comes and check that film out. It is an amazing film. I also have some other films that you can go see. Addiction by Subtraction, which is a psychological film. It's airing on Amazon Prime. Greed, which is an action film. Flesh, which is an action film based around human trafficking. And A Killing Secret, which is my directorial debut. And it has won awards over in LA, all through LA. It has been doing an amazing job. The traction is great, and I've been hearing nothing but great news about it. So I've done that All these films I've done a while ago. I got some new stuff coming real soon. So please be patient. I got you. I got you. I got you. Trust me. There's some good stuff coming. Last but not least, I kept debating if I was going to mention this. I wasn't sure. I thought about it. Then I said, maybe, maybe not. But our condolences at WcegWood goes out to Takeoff, the rapper who was shot violently outside of a club. I'm trying to remember where it was. I think it was Texas. But yes, it actually was in Texas, in Houston, Texas. And, you know, this is just another rapper who's been shot and slain by the same people who are people like us. And we have to stop this violence. It is imperative that we stop the violence. And it's been talked about now even more so, but it's funny how everything gets talked about when somebody passes away, especially a well-known person that's in the industry passes away. Then everybody wants to talk about it and want to do something about it and want to make change. A lot of times it's talked about and then it's just swept under the rug and they just keep going with the same thing. We have to change our narrative, people. We have to change what we talk about in the music, because the things we talk about in the music are the things that's actually starting to happen in real life. And I believe in a lot of ways you manifest the things that you talk about. When you constantly talk about them, they will happen. So we have to be aware of what we're doing, what we're putting out in the air, what we're teaching our children, what we got people listening to. It is imperative that we ourselves decide on change and want to be different. There's a lot more things out there than gangster rap and, you know, sex, drugs, money, killing, retaliation, all that kind of stuff. And record labels buy into it, put insurance on those rappers because in their minds, they're going to die anyway. And this is research that I 100% know is true. I just did a whole lot of research and they literally put life insurance on rappers when they hire them because their expectation is for them to die so that they can reap the money from that. So it's just a lot to it. Music videos, the insurance for music videos for rappers are way more expensive than any other music video. It's just a lot to this whole situation, a lot to this record labels. So, you know, for me, I think a lot of people have came up with the idea. A lot of industry artists are starting to do their own labels and create their own way without going through the major record labels. But in order to get way out there, it's a lot quicker to go through a major record label than it is to just launch your own and go yourself. It could take a lot longer, and some of them want the money quick. So they do what they got to do to create the narrative to sell the records. And when you get to a point, when people get to a point to realize exactly what's going on, maybe then they'll change the narrative. But that's just me saying what I have to say. I feel like I needed to say that today, so I'm saying that today. Now, with that being said, I'm going to move on to my guest. So, a few months ago, I know it was sometime this summer, I went to a movie premiere. The movie premiere was called Crack Foundation. I had met this woman at an event with another friend that I knew. She came in there, and I met her, and I started following her on social media. And she did a movie called Crack Foundation. Now I go out and I support a lot of people who do premieres. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. All of them are not the best. In fact, there are more that are not that good than that are that good. But this one was really, really good. And I was really impressed by the quality of it. I was really impressed by the acting. She did a very good job playing the lead role. It was her film. She wrote it. And I just was very, very impressed. And I said, I have to get this woman on the show at some point so she can talk about her journey, talk about her film, talk about who she is as a person so people can know who she is, because she's an amazing person Since then, I've gotten to know her a little bit more. She's amazing. That woman is Stephanie P. Green. What is going on, Stephanie?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that introduction. I appreciate that.
No
All is
doubt.
well. Thank you so much for having me, Wardell. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And I'm glad that you made the time to come on to the show. Sorry about the beginning. I had to get in a little sensitive subjects there. You know, some
Yeah.
things had to be talked about. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, but we ain't gonna focus on that right now. We're gonna talk about what you got going on. So I want people to know who you are and where you're from. So give us a little bit about your past history. If you're not from Georgia, where are you from, and how did you manage to come all the way here to the South Side?
Okay. So I am from a very small city called Nathalie, Virginia. Okay. It's in the country. Very, very small. There's nothing there.
Okay.
That's where I was reared. I was reared by my grandmother, Rosa Lee Tucker Kirby, and her husband, Nelson Kirby. And so,
Okay.
in that particular time, if you want to talk about someone that knows about a hard knock life, and get it from the mud. I think that's what Country Wayne said. That would be me. Okay.
Hey, before you go too deep, I just want to say, we was promoting the flyer for the show, and I think your mother got there and said, "That's my baby" or something like that. And I was like, there go mama.
Yeah. So I mean, it is. I would say this. I do not supposed to be where I am today because the way that I was brought up, it was just like survival was the frame of mind. And I was instilled, like education was highly instilled in me because it was like,
Right.
Stephanie, this is not the life that you want. Go to school, go to school, go to school. And my grandmother's voice, she would say, get your books, get your books, get your books. It was nothing else other
Right.
than education. So that was strongly driven in within me. And so, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to fast forward to get all the way to Atlanta. So I actually ended up in Atlanta because I had booked the show on BET and I almost lost the role because I did not have residence. But at that particular time, a wonderful coach, she helped me out and she let me use her residency. And I had put in
Okay.
my mind from that day that I would never find myself in that position ever again. And so at that particular time, I established residence, and that's how I ended up in Atlanta.
Got you.
Yeah,
So it's safe to say now you travel back and forth from your hometown to Atlanta mostly to do work,
yeah.
to find work, auditions, things like that.
Absolutely. So I really believe a lot in perfecting the craft, constantly working. So I
Uh-huh.
travel back to Atlanta. I still am in class, Believe It Studio. Shout out to Bruce Blackshear. He's amazing. Um, I still of course do trading and then networking events and doing a lot of connecting as much as I can because over the last 2 years or so, everything's just been closed off
Hmm.
as close
Yeah.
as can be because I learned that Atlanta doesn't really shut down for anything really.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
We were the only state that was open, right?
yeah, like you all just kept that thing moving. So but for the most part, everything was like really kind of closed. And so now getting back into like the midst of what's happening, what's going on, and what's taking place. So my focus now is still on constantly training, auditioning, networking, things of that nature.
It's funny you say that because you say Atlanta doesn't shut down for anything, but let them say it's gonna snow, everything
Oh,
shuts down. All they
so
gotta do is
true.
hum. All they gotta do is hum that it's gonna snow and it's a wrap.
Absolutely. I think it's the most funniest thing ever because it's like a flake dropped and it's like everything goes ghost. And I was like, oh my goodness. Or if it rains, it's like, oh my God, it's kind of bananas. But I've just learned, I'm constantly still learning the culture and the environment because of how it is. But it's been a journey and it continues to be.
It's a different place, man. I've been here all my life. I love it. Don't want to go anywhere else. Now, why acting? You know, there's a whole plethora of things that you can choose from. What is it about acting that attracts you?
Oh, wow. I think this may, I hope it doesn't sound too strange. I'm going to try to break it down some. It's
Okay.
not about more so the acting other than versus it being a ministry for me, right?
Okay.
So acting is the terminology that we use, but it's like a ministry to me because I really do enjoy telling meaningful stories that actually speak to the soul and heart of man, that actually
Yeah.
provide some type of empowerment, enlightenment, give them a sense of purpose, or that they can make it. That's what I really, really, truly enjoy doing, and I know that's part of my purpose, and that's who I am, and that's what I do. So it's acting because it helps me reaches a lot of people at a specific time and place where I am. It spreads that way because
Right.
that's my purpose, and that's what that's what I really want to do. So it's not about acting, and it's bigger than I am. It's more so of the people that I am seeking to reach and touch via the mode of transportation of acting and what I'm doing.
So is that also translates into you becoming also a motivational speaker?
Yes, so that has a lot to do with it, more so with me being a licensed psychiatric therapist.
Okay.
It really, when I started to contemplate it and I started to think about it, it really is not a surprise in what I have grown up to be, because at a very young age, I used to have all of these people coming and talk to me about some very personal, like real intimate things, because they knew that it wasn't going anywhere else. And at a very young age, I tried to have, because I was raised by my grandmother, I'm an old soul, as I've been told so many times. There was a certain level of wisdom that I already possessed because of my rearing. And so people always felt comfortable coming to me, talking to me about a lot of things. And so that what led me into being a licensed psychiatric therapist, with the motivation of speaking in with that now into the acting. It all goes hand in
Right.
hand.
Yeah. So what is it about acting that you pull from to become the characters that you are? Because a lot of people, and before I dig too deep into your film,
Yeah.
because we're gonna get there.
Okay.
What what is it about you, or what is it that you pull from when you become an actor? Like, what is your process? Because a lot of people have their own thing, like they zone out and become a whole different person in different films, and they pull from different things,
Yeah.
or they just have a technique that they go by and they just draw from that, or what they were coached or taught, or however they move. What is your way of connecting with your character?
Okay. Oh, that's like a complex question, because it's so many different avenues in regards to, like I said, all the training that I've gone through, all the classes that I've taken from LA to Atlanta to North Carolina to Virginia with Chuck Butt and Stanislavski. I can't pronounce the word, but you know what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
That word, that one, and just Uta Hagen, all of these individuals, Meisner technique, all of those things are like a melting pot for me. So I take sometimes a little bit from here, a little bit from there, a little bit from here. And then also, because of the line of work that I'm in, I've seen a lot. I've heard a lot. I've done a lot. So working with individuals with, in the field that I'm in, it's easy to pour from certain things than what I've experienced in real life of individuals. And then I
Right.
also think there has been nothing more powerful than just being, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I get a script and I see it, and once I start to break it down and do all of the script analysis and all of those things, my questions, I ask a lot of questions. Who am I? Where am I? What do I like? How do I like to feel? What
Yep.
I'm going through, what's this emotion, all of these things. But then it's actually being who that individual is and not acting. So all of that comes into play. So it's not really one specific thing, but it's a mirage of everything that I've learned, life experiences, who I am, and then becoming what the character is.
Yeah, and I think that's a very good response to that question. I think a lot of it comes from personal experiences. For me, and the stuff that I see, you know, I'm a movie watcher. I can watch movies all day because to me it is a lesson. I'm learning as I watch the movie. I'm learning different characters. I'm learning. And when I watch something, I'm always asking myself, can I do that? Can I become that character? Can I play it as good as they did? You know, I used to think that and imagine myself in those characters every time I watch a movie. You know, so for me, I have to watch a movie at least 2 or 3 times to really actually see the movie.
Yes, I was going to say that. I was going to actually say that because now it's more so a lot of dissecting. It's like, okay, I got to go rewatch it again so I can actually watch it because it's like, oh, I can do that scene. Oh, let me just see if I can try this scene. So I get that. I totally understand it. It's never, even when it comes down to television, television is the same exact way. I was like, oh, I like the way that they did the hair thing. I like that. So it's always having to go back to watch it at least 2, sometimes maybe 3 times I may do it.
Yeah.
Just to get the essence of really what's happening because then my mind is constantly breaking down things.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. In being an actress in the world of acting, what has been your greatest challenge?
That's a good question. Oh, wow. I would say one of the things is I'm learning that, of course, people like to work with individuals that they know, that they like, and that they trust, and that are, you know, good, cooperative on set to like to work with. And I'm understanding the very importance of relationships. And so one of the things I notice is connecting, because a lot of the times it's not so much of what it is that you do and how you do it. It's based on relationships and who you know and who knows you. So it's because of coming from Virginia and now, you know, being in Atlanta, trying to, you know, develop networking and doing these things and not also coming off as, oh, because that's not who I am. That's not my personality. I don't believe in having to pull and beg and do all of that. No, because what's for me can't not miss me. So I found a difficult time, you know, not so much a difficult time, but really learning the connections and getting, you know, involved and in the midst of who is Stephanie P. Green. Also, because I just executive produced my own film, is another challenge is, you know, doing the film, and I know we're gonna get to this, but I want to say it.
See, you're gonna take one of my questions.
Okay,
and do it
I'll wait. Okay.
I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to your film. Trust and believe, because I really want to touch on it. In fact,
no, because I was gonna mention one of the challenges, but I said let's
go ahead. Let's go ahead and jump on that. Let's go ahead and jump on your film because the film is amazing. I love your character in it. So what I want you to tell the people who are watching is, can you give a little bit of what the movie is about without giving too much out there, and what was the motive behind doing it?
Okay, so Crack Foundation was birthed out of pain, really. It was in a time in my life where I was in so much sorrow. I was experiencing grief. I mean, there was a lot of happening in my personal life. It was just birthed out of pain. And so ultimately the film came about because of that. And I used it as a therapeutic tool to help release a lot of the things that was going on in my life. So my grandmother, as I told you, who reared me, she transitioned unexpectedly in her sleep. And so that was
Oh, wow.
really major trauma. The night before we
Sorry
talked,
to hear
it
that.
was fine. Thank you. Things were good. And the next day, she was no longer here. 5 months later, my brother was murdered and found in the ravines in the mountains of Roanoke. And so
Oh,
that happened.
wow.
And then, as I told you before, things personally was going on with me. So it was like one thing was coming right behind the next, the next, the next. And I didn't even have time to seem like to take a breath to come up from that. And so what I found myself was in a place of the things that I helped other individuals with, I couldn't help myself with. And
Right.
so I said, you know what? I know if I'm feeling like this, other individuals are feeling the same way. What can I do? What can I share to also let people know that everybody needs somebody to talk to at some point in their
Yes,
life?
they do.
We don't have to
Yeah.
be ashamed. We don't have to be embarrassed. We don't have to feel less than a woman or man. No, everybody's going to need someone to talk to. The stigma behind mental health is also addressed in the film because there's such a negative connotation behind that, especially based on the time frame in which you were born and how you was raised, all of that. And also relationship conflicts are also, in the film as well. And so
Yeah.
that's where it came from. That's a little bit about what it's about. And yeah, it's one definitely very sentimental to my heart.
Wow. I saw the movie and it was an amazing film. Now, how hard was it to put the film together?
Oh, wow. So you got to understand, I had never been on the opposite side of the lens.
Right.
And
Right.
so for me, it was like being baptized by fire, because, because it's so many moving elements. And I have
Yes, it
a
is.
whole new profound respect for creators and entertainers because
Yeah.
you got to worry about producer, the director, the makeup, the hair, the craft services, the sound. I mean, the cinematographer,
Yep.
everything and everybody you're responsible for. And
Yep.
everything that happens on set, you're responsible for.
Yep.
And every cost that happens, you're
You're
responsible
responsible.
for.
Yep. Yep.
So it was when it started coming along, I can say that I was truly, truly blessed with a dynamic cast and crew. It did. So when it started coming along, when things started to become in motion, they were moving very fast, at least for me, because again, I hadn't been on that opposite side. But for others, it may have been right on pace. But so for me, it came at a very, very consistent pace. It was like one
Yeah.
thing after the next started to happen.
Right.
So yeah, it was moving pretty quickly.
So now let's go back to what was your biggest challenge in doing it. Would you say that was your biggest challenge, or were you going to say something else earlier?
That is definitely a I don't want to say because challenge just seems like it's rooted in a little underlying negativity, and I don't like it kind of
Not
bad.
really, because
But
to me, in this industry, you're going to come across stuff and it's just a challenge for you. It don't necessarily mean that it's a negative challenge. It just means it's a challenge, something that's going to push you to do better
yes,
or
yes,
push you
yes.
the opposite way. It all depends on how you take it.
So for me, that was such a learning experience when I was talking about how everything comes on you and you're responsible for. And me learning how the casting part goes and just going through and looking at all of those things. Again, it just opened up my perspective and my understanding. So yes, it was pretty, pretty challenging, but I learned quickly. I'm a quick study. So the fact
Okay.
that I also had other individuals to be like, hey, Stephanie, this, and this, because everything is Stephanie, 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 Stephanie. Everything is that. So you have to be able to get it and you got to get it quickly. So that was the challenge. And also, as I mentioned about, cost, everything cost.
Oh yeah.
There's a cost
That is a big
behind
thing.
everything. So, with my family, especially with my family, I had to do like a basic 101 teaching to them, because it's like, okay, when you're next, when your feature going to come? Well, okay, we're waiting, what's going to happen? And I'm looking at them, I had to sit them down and explain to them, listen, there's a cost. So I find, to be very serious, my desire is for the feature film, but the cost factor is a major factor with that. But I know in due season, in due time, it will happen. I just don't know when it's going to happen, but that is something that's that's on the forefront.
Well, the good thing is you have a catalyst to get funding because you've done the short film, so you can show that to investors and stuff and say, I want to make this into a feature, because all they're looking for is something to show, okay, if you did this with whatever budget you got, if I gave you more, then you should be able to cremate this thing. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you saying that. And hopefully those that are listening, they hear as well. And I would love that. I would absolutely love that, because again, it's the desire that I have is to not just make a movie, just
Right.
not tell a story. It really is intentional. It really does make a difference for me, the impact that it has on another individual. We have a lot of, shoot it up, kill them, stab them, and all of that.
Right.
Okay, but also I want to show another side. I'm so very appreciative, because in the making of the film, initially, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put it into some film festivals and just see how it goes, what it does. And yeah, that's going to be it. I had no idea. I'm so grateful that it has done as well as it has done, because I didn't know it was going to be on TV. I didn't know it was going to be on Amazon Prime. I didn't know it was going to be on Shine TV. So that's a blessing. That has been truly a blessing. And then I also learned that these bigger networks like Netflix and BET and Lifetime, you have to have at least 41 minutes to it be considered a feature. Lesson. That was a lesson for me. So now I know when the time comes back around again, I'm shooting for that hour and 15, that hour and 30 minutes, because there's a bigger vision. Yeah. There's a bigger plan.
Yeah. And so in doing that, since you had that big experience behind the camera as well, which part do you like the most? Being the actress or being behind the scenes?
I like being the actress.
I figured you'd say that.
Oh, I like showing up, doing what I know I am there to do, and rap, I'm out. I enjoy that. But I can also say I might as well say that it's almost like it gives you like, I don't know, I got a little touch of behind the scenes now, and I don't mind it. It. So I just don't want to have to be the actress and have to worry about behind the scenes too. So I know that goes in a lot with the crew that you have and all of that as well, your producer and all of that. I just don't want to carry so many different levels and things when I do that. Yeah. So I love both. I don't mind doing both. But if I'm going to be the actress, I don't want to have to worry so much about all the other moving parts behind the scenes as well at the same time.
Right. So you want a production company that has everything and can do everything in this one unit that already have all those things, like my film company. I got you 100%.
Yeah.
So that was my little nudge in there. I don't know if you heard it or not, but that was my little nudge in there.
I heard.
I said like my film company,
like Rain Production. Okay.
Rain Dance Films, yes, ma'am. So, what's to call you today? If you got a call from a big name producer and they offered you a role, and this was the number one role you've always wanted, what character, what type of role would it be that you've always wanted to portray in a film?
Oh my goodness. Um,
I hit you with some interesting questions, don't I?
it is because, wow, I'm just really thinking about that because I know the spirit that I carry. So
Right.
it would be one that really is in the field of helps or care. It would be somebody that would be like a holistic other individual for somebody else. It would be
Okay.
an individual that is more like um, the person that they will come to get back. I don't, oh, that's so complex and I'm not doing it justice. I feel like I'm not doing it justice. Um,
You know what I think when you will be good? I think you'll be good playing the bad person.
really?
Yeah, because you always got this goody good girl image type thing. I
Ah,
think you should play the opposite.
so many people don't know this, but I have a 7-year career in law enforcement. I used to be a probation and parole officer with the bulletproof vest, with the weapon, with the
What?
combat boots, with all of that. I used to do drug
You
raids,
just
police officers, all of
I
that. People don't know that.
see,
So you got,
I see, and see, even when you do that, I'm just like, I can't even imagine. I feel like you'd be like, that's wrong. Stop doing that.
and see, that's what, I'm telling you, I get that all the time because individuals, they don't, I really try to not go there. I like to stay in peace. I like to, that's my center. But I do have a serious side about me. I really truly do. And I do know how to adjust to whatever environment that I'm in. So I think that's what's kind of hard for people to understand. I can go all the way to your executive board and I can come all the way down to the hole in the wall if I have to. I have that, it's in there. I have that in me.
Right,
And
right.
that's just what I've just learned to do. I've just learned to adjust to whatever environment that I'm in. But what you see today and who you see today, that's my center. That's peace.
See, I would love to see that hardcore side of you. Like for real. Like I like to see you be some deranged killer type woman. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Oh,
just go in
we
there and you
can't
just
do detective or police officer. I gotta be a killer.
yeah, I want to see you be some kind of deranged, crazy woman that's just slashing throats and dumping them in the ravine somewhere and walking off and being like you ain't never did nothing and go back home and eat dinner.
Oh wow. That is a stretch. That is certainly a
Hey,
stretch.
but that would be insane. I think
I
that
can
was
understand that.
yeah. I think I like to see the good girl image type pushed to a whole nother level because it just shows your range.
I understand. I don't know if I want to go as far as, killing them and slashing throats. But I certainly can
That
go
was
on the
just an
other side.
example.
I know. I'm sticking with you. I certainly can go on the other side. And, believe it or not, I do audition for law enforcement and in roles like that as well. So, yeah, we shall see. We'll see.
Law enforcement. I guess law enforcement can be creepy nowadays.
It's not so much, I don't know what you mean by that terminology, but it's very serious because when you're going into people's houses, especially when there's drugs,
Oh
there's
yeah.
weapons, and where there are guns, there's drugs, it's very, very serious and you put your life out there. So it's
I just can't. I'm
rough.
just trying to. I'm trying to imagine. Okay, so give me a moment during that time. Just so I can imagine it. Give me a moment during that time when you was a police officer and stuff. What was your craziest moment where you had to make a decision and you were just like, if I don't do, like, you had to get crazy on something, not crazy, but you had to show them, look, you know what I mean? Like, this ain't gonna happen. You had to put some muscle into it, or,
Yeah. So because you've never been in that particular occupation, it's
Right.
you only can go but so far. So again, I can remember being on the task force, and because I
Mhm.
have the warrants, I can write warrants and things like that. I had that and I'm with them. And so when you're before the car even stops, you're out, you're jumping out, running, and you're running to what you know could be a very bad
Dangerous.
situation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you're busting down doors and guns are drawn and you're telling people, get down, police, all of that, that's extremely intense, very much serious, very much, you know, heightened. Everything is here. And you're taking people down, you're looking for all of these items and things like that. So that is one of, just one of the ones that I, can tell you about that's really, really intense. For the most part, individuals
Right.
that I went out to get to arrest, I try to do it in a very subtle way. I only did that because they didn't believe me. Like you just said, I don't believe that you would just do so and so and so. But I would be courteous enough to say, listen, if you do this again, this is what's going to happen. They didn't believe me. So when I show up at their job and I'm like, turn around, you have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say can and will. They could not believe it. They could not believe that. And so so yeah, those things, just have also played a part of who I am today. And things, you mentioned, what do you draw from? Those experiences are some of the things that I draw from in my
Yeah.
craft. Yeah.
And is the danger behind that kind of what made you get out of it? Or
No, I left that because I was working on my graduate degree and I
oh,
had
okay.
to work on a residency in order to get my degree. So I could not work full time and also do full time residency. So I had to quit that job and go fledged in order to get my degree.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too deep into it, but police officers and stuff nowadays get such a bad rap now. When you
Yeah.
see what that was going through the news or what you hear about, how does that make you feel about what you see on TV? Since you've been in that,
Yeah.
part of had that career for a short time.
Yeah, it's very disheartening to hear because I do know um, when you're in such positions, it comes down to me an individual's character.
Right.
It's not the job, it's who the individual are to their core, is that
Right.
individual. It's not the police, it's that particular individual. And so
Right.
when I see these things, I know the individuals that I work with. I work with judges, DAs, prosecutors, all of them, sheriffs, everybody. And I've worked with
Mhm.
some really, really great people that had really, really good intentions, and the things that they done were pure. And so now that I'm seeing this, these things are out here now in the public, a lot of that is shown of all of the negative and the harsh things that have taken place, which needs to be shown a light. But there's
Yeah.
also some major positive things that are happening as well that not so much is shown all over the world as well. So it's disheartening
Yeah.
to see these individuals take that oath, because we have to take an oath, to take that oath and then actually do just the opposite of what they had just vowed to do.
Yeah. I kind of see it as, because I remember going to a gas station one time and I was just about to buy something. I was behind this cop, you know, and he was in front of me and I put my stuff on the counter and stuff. And the cop kind of looked over it and he looked back at me. He said, "You give me this and pay for all that too." And I said,
Mhm.
"What? Like he paid for my stuff?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just chipped. I said, I appreciate it. He said, "No problem, man. Have a good day." He just walked off. And I think just like it is with us as Black people, they portray the bad side and the bad things more than they portray the good stuff.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
that's
because
true.
I do believe there are some good police officers out there. You know, they show them very little, but there are some good police officers out there. I believe that. But when you see what's going on and you see how aggressive, you know, people are and police officers, when you see what's going on in the rap community, like what I just was talking about before the show, before I started interviewing you, it kind of makes you look at life and look at situations totally different
Yes,
than you would
absolutely.
look at it, because that's what you see. That's what they promote more than anything.
Yes, yes. It's almost like watching CNN. It's always something that keeps your stress levels up.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like, okay, where and when is the good gonna come? But you know, it's just like it's pe- things are money is made off of stories and things
yes,
like the negativity and the the tragic things that are happening. So that's where the focus is on that, because it brings a certain level of attention to whatever network it is or whatever. But the unfortunate part about it is, and like I said, a lot of those things light does need to be shined upon. Yet there's also a lot of things that are happening as well that is great, that light also needs to be shined upon.
yeah, I agree. So what's next for Stephanie P. Green? You know, I know you mentioned you want to do a feature film
Yes.
with the Crack Foundation. What other ideas? What other things do you have hot on the stove right now?
Oh, so I don't even have it here to show you. So um I just had to take a pause because the words said write the vision and make it plain. And so I was just writing, and I was just really just letting God know what I wanted, what I wanted. And I just stopped and I just said, God, you know, you know the things that I desire, because he says that he desires us to have, an expected end. He knows the plans that he has for us. And I just had to stop and I just had to laugh, because I heard, you want to make God laugh, tell him what you want. But I was
Yeah.
still writing the vision there, and I was still writing there, and I just completely stopped. And I just let myself just be clear and open. These are the things that I've desired, such as the feature film. I definitely want to do the feature film. I definitely would like to continue to audition and get on some of these other, network platforms. I do want to be impactful. I haven't even discussed the foundation that I want to do in honor of my grandmother. There
Well,
are
let's talk about it. Talk about the foundation you want to do in honor of your grandmother.
So my grandmother, she was an individual. She never met a stranger, never, ever met a stranger. Very communicative talk. Everybody knew her. Always giving, always doing things of helps, because that's just the person that she was. So I would like to have a foundation called the Rose Foundation, because her name was Rosa, but everybody called her Rose. And I want it to be a place where individuals can come. Like if you don't have food, there's food there. If you need to get on the computer to look for employment, that there you can look for employment. I want to be a place where also a section could be for the homeless, because even just traveling down Atlanta alone, there's so many just sad things that I see on the bridges and on the side of the road. A place where individual can come to have a safe haven, that they can come and get some help to help them along their way, and continue on, and then have another set come in. So just something like that that I have envisioned, and just in order
Okay.
to help the community.
Nice. And what else? You was about to say something else after your grandmother
I don't know.
that you had on the stove, hot on the stove. So I feel like you have definitely, because look, time is already almost over for us in this show. Remember, I was
Oh,
telling you, I was like,
okay.
time go by fast, before you know it. And I can talk to you for a long time, because film is like my thing. I love
Mhm.
film. I love the good. I love the bad to it. And I feel like when you love all the aspects of it, it's not really a job.
Yeah,
Not to
yeah.
me. It's
Mhm.
just what I love. I love everything about it. When it comes to your movie, let's just say, for example, your movie that you did, and you had to audition people. Now, for me, that's my favorite part of behind the scenes is auditioning.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. When you had to audition people for your film, what was the process behind that, and how challenging was it for you to audition people? Because I'm gonna tell you, when I audition people, and I audition quite a bit,
Yeah.
I'd be dumbfounded by some of the stuff that I see.
Right.
And then I'm really impressed by some of the stuff that I see. So what was your take on, and how did you go through the process of casting for your film?
So this is going to go back to one of our early questions that you asked me, as it relates to the networking and the connecting and things like that. I had like 184 men apply to be my co-star on Breakdown Services, because we put it on Actors Access and Breakdown Services.
Okay.
But with that, the only cast member that I did not know at the time was my co-star. And he actually came from a referral from one of my good friends that's in the movie called, her name is Jacqueline Pulsey Hilton. He came from her. But the rest of the individuals I knew because in class and networking. So I knew them personally. And Kimberly Newsom, that played my best friend, I watched her on Facebook and I didn't know her. But the rest of the cast, I knew them personally. That's how it came about. So it really wasn't difficult, because when I was writing and when I was thinking, I was like, oh, this person would be great in this. And this individual would be great in this. I just knew it because I wrote it like that. And so when I called them, there was no hesitation. There was no let me think about it. There was none of that. There's like, okay, when is it? What day? What's the date? Time?
Right.
And they were just on board. So it wasn't difficult for me, and it was a really smooth process. It was.
Nice.
It was.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, you know, and that's good. Networking is one of the biggest keys. I tell people all the time: go to events, network. Let people see who you are, meet people, follow people, see how they promote themselves, see some of the stuff they do. That's why I love going to movie premieres. I love going to the movie premiere. Every time I see somebody post something about a movie premiere, I try to make it, because, you know, I usually know the people that's in it, and then I try to see who else I know that's in it. and I start writing names down and trying to figure out who they are, because I have projects and stuff of my own that's coming up, and I know that I can reach out to these people and get them, you know, at some point. And then some people, you know, because of networking, they know what I do, and they reach out to me and be like, look, if you got anything, you know, let me know. So I got them down and stuff like that. So when it comes to what you're doing, you know, I applaud you. That was your first project that you did, and it was phenomenal. I loved it. And I told you that at the event. It was really a good project. I see so many people out here that don't take the time to really focus and make it their own. You know what I mean? And make it something that's meaningful, because your name is behind it. When people see your first project, that's what they're gonna go by from then on. From then on.
And I think that was really another driving force. You know, you want to do everything in excellence, because your name is on it. And not only your name, you have all of these other great, amazing actors. Like, these are not just any actors. These individuals are absolutely amazing. They're on our television screen, on our movie screens. They're all over the place. And so excellence was a major thing. Anything that you go out, you know, I wanted to do had to be as best could be. And so that is so true. I would tell an individual, this right here is not for the faint. And as the late David Arnold say, is definitely not for the weak. So if you wanted to, if this is something that you want to do, you really have to want to do it because nothing less to do. You just can't throw anything together. You just can't put something together because it sounds good. It has to make sense. It has to have, a meaning. It has to have a reason, a purpose. It has to serve something. And all of those things, it comes, is impactful. Every single piece provides another piece to another piece. It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle, and you need all the pieces.
Yes, you do. So we got 5 minutes left in the show. What I would like for you to do is give one piece of advice to our listeners if they're looking to become an actress or be in any part of this industry. What piece of advice would you give them that's imperative for you?
I would say life. And I'm gonna look at the camera and say this. Life. When we look at our life, time is one of the things that we would never be able to get back. And so the life that we are graced with, that we still have left, we really have to take full advantage of the time that we are graced to have. So if acting is what you want to do, producing, director, cinematography, whatever it is that you want to do, if you're not going to do it wholeheartedly, then don't do it at all, because time is something that we will never be able to get back. And also, don't let any limitations that you feel that you may have start. And that begins, I think the start begins in the mind, in knowing that this is something not only can I do, but I'm well able to accomplish it and complete it to the vision that I have. So that's what I believe is do it, go for it. And
good.
Mindful of your time.
That's good. And my thing is believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. And some stuff may take a long time, people. It could take sometimes years to get what you're looking for, but it will happen if you stay focused and keep trying. Somebody will believe in you enough to give you that opportunity. If you're looking for funding, somebody gonna fund you. If you're looking for that starring role, somebody gonna give you that starring role. You just gotta keep pushing, putting forth the effort and believing in yourself.
100% true. 100% true. I agree to all of that.
So with that being said, Stephanie, let people know how they can reach out to you, your social media handles, things like that. Don't give out your telephone number. Please don't do that. But let them know how they can reach you on social media if they want to reach out to you.
Stephanie P. Green on all platforms. I'm doing better with being more active. But Stephanie P. Green on all platforms. You can find me there. You can send a message if you so choose to do so. But Stephanie P. Green and Mr. Wardell Richardson is also another resource if you need to reach out to me as well.
For sure. And Green with an E.
No.
Green with an E.
No E.
No E?
No E.
I thought I saw an E somewhere.
No, sir. Stephanie
Okay.
Green like the color. Okay,
green like the color. All right, y'all got it right here with Stephanie P. Green. Thank you for being a part of the show. This was an amazing interview. You're doing your thing. Congratulations on all your success. Make sure, tell people also where they can go see your movie at right now.
Yes, let me look at the screen for this as well. Tubi, go to Tubi, go to Amazon Prime, or go to Shine TV, put in Cracked Foundation, and just enjoy yourself. Look at it with an open mind, understanding, and knowing that it's okay to ask for help if and when you need to. And there's always someone out there that's willing to lend a helping hand. Cracked Foundation.
All right. Make sure y'all go check that out. She just gave you where you can go and look at it at, Cracked Foundation. Trust me, it is an amazing film. I truly enjoyed it. When I watched it, I couldn't keep my eyes off of it. So make sure you go and check that out. Last but not least, before we get off of here, I just want to reiterate one last time to go out and vote. The last day is tomorrow. You got till 7 p.m. Please go out, vote. It is very, very imperative that you do, because we have a lot of things going on in our community, in our state, that needs to be taken care of. And I truly believe, I'm just going to say it, Stacey Abrams is going to do her thing. So, with that being said, this is Wardell Richardson on WCEG Wood, Hollywood of the South. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Stephanie, for this incredible interview. I look forward to seeing everybody in 2 weeks with my next guest, and it's going to be an amazing show as well. I can't wait for it. Thank you again, Stephanie. We are signing out. This is Wardell Richardson on WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South.